Welcome to Revsportz. Meet Adille Sumariwalla, president of AFI, a key figure in Indian athletics who's now the first Indian vice president of World Athletics. He's not only been an Olympian but also a leader in sports, from representing India internationally to contributing to sports administration. Adil's journey is remarkable. Join us as we chat with him about his experiences and the exciting future he sees for Indian athletics globally. Welcome, Adil. First of all,
Thank you.
congratulations on being elected as the Vice President of World Athletics. As the first Indian to hold this position, how do you envision representing India on the global stage and contributing to the development of athletics worldwide?
Thank you very much for your very kind words. Being on the council itself is very difficult. Um, it's 200 plus countries that vote, and you need to get over 115 votes really if you want to win. So it's not easy. However, that put aside, I think the first time it was in 2015 when I got elected onto the council. I barely got elected onto the council. And the second time it was a good margin by which I got elected on the council. But then this time, because you can do only 3 terms, so I thought I'd move up to vice president. And it was very tough because there can only be one from each continent. I had Prince Nawaf of Saudi Arabia, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, fighting an election against me only. And he took away about 40 votes. I still managed to get over 115 votes. So it's tough. But I think what happens is that when you are in a position like that, it not only helps you to look at the world athletics, but I think there is so much benefit that comes to Indian athletics.
Right.
And whether it's terms of development, etc., there is just so much that you can bring to the table because you're sitting on the high table, you're sitting on the executive board, and you're taking the decisions for the whole world. But then you also have India in mind, and you do whatever it needs to be done to make sure, and that's really helped. And if you really look at the performance in the last 10, 15 years, it's been a remarkable journey. It's been a lot of planning, a lot of strategy that we put in place more than 10 years ago, the fruits of which we are reaping today.
Right. And Adil, do you have any specific goals or initiatives that you plan to pursue during your term?
So let me tell you, when I first became president of Athletics Federation of India, I said 3 things.
Mhm.
First, I said that you made the naughtiest boy the monitor of the class. That was because I had started an athletes union to fight against the federation and the government, and we went on to bhuk hartals, etc., etc. I said, now I can't do that. The second thing I said, I will never let anybody suffer the way I suffered. And I must put on record that the night I went to the Olympic Games, I was sleeping outside on the steps of National Stadium. There wasn't even a room inside for me to sleep. And I was going to run for India at the Olympic Games in Moscow. I said, no athlete will ever suffer. And the third thing I said is, India doesn't have a medal in the Olympic Games in
Hmm.
athletics.
Right.
And I will try my best. And I must say that I've achieved all 3. And when Neeraj got his medal in on the 7th of August 2021 in Tokyo, that's when I told the executive board of Athletic Federation, I've achieved all the 3 things I want, and please let me step down and get somebody else to take over. They wouldn't accept that, but I was saying it's not that I want to hold on to any seat. So I offered to step down. I said I've achieved my goals. The thing for India is that we're just at the beginning. The
Right.
results of planning for the last 10 years has shown today we run the largest grassroots level program in the world. We have 600 districts that come and take part in an inter-district competition. 6,500 athletes come and take part in this competition. Only age groups 14 and 16. So you can imagine, but remember that before this, there is a selection process. So each district has its district championships. And in each of those district championships, you have anything between 150 for a small district to 3,500, 4,000 athletes in a big district. Nearly a million children, close to a million children take part. Across the country, 600. And this time, the inter-district is going to be, the national inter-district going to be in Ahmedabad. And we are aiming to get 650 districts this time. We've restricted each district to only 13 athletes because, I mean, you also need to do accommodation and food. And Athletic Federation pays for food, accommodation, train fare, transport, travel, everything for those 6,500 athletes. And we feed about 10,000 people every day because they come with parents, they come with coaches, because they're kids, they're under 14. You can't send the parents away that you go and eat somewhere else. So we cater for about 10,000 people every single day for 5 days in a year. So you are asking me about this. So this program is already showing results. This program has created the Neerajes of the world, the Duti Chand of the world, the Hima Dases of the world. You name whoever. Maybe one or two like Sable, who joined the army and later came into sport. But 95% of these athletes come from this program. So just understand, this is just the beginning. This is just a breach in the wall. The dam will burst in the next few years. And when that dam bursts, it's going to be unstoppable. So this is for India. Now for the rest of the world. The rest of the world, I sit on the Development Commission, I sit on the Finance Committee, I sit on the Audit Committee. My background is finance, etc. I sit on the Risk Committee. And what I am trying my best to do is, there are very many small countries. One of the smallest countries has only 1,500 population. Now, how can we help those in the Development Commission?
Right.
How can we get their athletes to perform better? How can we produce more coaches? How can we do more coaches programs on electronic platforms? How can we have more technical officials? How do we have a gender leadership? Now, as you know, World Athletics has 50 men, 50 women in the council. It's exactly 50-50. But there are very few countries who can throw up good, strong leaders in women. Because there are many, many countries, if you look at a lot of countries in Asia, a lot of countries in the Arab world, a lot of countries in Africa, women are not in the forefront. And one of our biggest challenges is, and what I'm looking at is, how do we help them? How do we create the pipeline for them to come into mainstream? And from there, how do we take them forwards to become leaders? So there's a lot of work that is going on.
Right, and development always starts at the grassroots.
Absolutely.
But going back to Asian Games, congratulations on India's stellar performance in athletics. You know, India has shown consistent progression in athletics participation. How do you see this trend continuing for the Paris Olympics?
See, Asian Games is a very different ball game. Commonwealth Games is a very different ball game. Olympic Games is a very different ball game. We now have one medal and a gold medal. We'd like to improve upon that in Paris. I think our athletes have the potential. We've seen that. See, you also need to understand bench strength, and winning comes from bench strength. So when I took over 2012 Olympics, 12 athletes had qualified. But the qualifying is international qualifying. You can't qualify at home. There's a standard and a rating system. Double the number of athletes qualified in Rio. Triple the number of athletes qualified in Tokyo. So that is the progression we are seeing. So we need to analyze all those. See, nobody knows this. Everybody thinks, oh, sub federation chor hai, federation kuch nahi karta hai. We are what we are in spite of. We have 7 foreign coaches. We identified those events. Javelin had 3 international foreign coaches. Gary Calvert to Uwe Horn, who himself was a world record holder in javelin throw, to Klaus, who's a biomechanics expert from Germany. Long jump coach is a medalist himself. Our ex 400 meters coach, she was a medalist herself. Now the new coach we got for the 400 relay is the assistant coach to Usain Bolt. So who's doing all this? The federation and the government is paying for this. Sports Authority of India pays for this under the ACTC program and other programs. So this is a combination of state, which is Sports Authority of India, Government of India, Youth Affairs and Sport, and Athletic Federation. And we work very, very closely with them. All the planning is done by us. We go back to government, say, this is our plan. We want money for this to fund our athletes. They would come back and question us. They have a whole team of people that are there who would then rip apart our analysis, and we would have these healthy conversations, discussions, and then we move forwards.
Yes, and you mentioned javelin, so we have to talk about Neeraj and Kishore Jaina's 1-2 finish in javelin throw. How do you see the impact of Indian javelin throwers on the world stage now that Neeraj and Kishore have pulled that off?
So understand, when we started javelin throw 2015 or so, when we identified javelin throw as an event, very few people believed that could happen. When I was participating in the 80s, the national record was 65 meters in javelin with the old javelin.
Yes.
Today, if you don't throw over 75 meters with the new javelin, which is a rated javelin, you throw less with it, you will not be in the top 20 in India. If you don't throw over 80 meters, you will not be in the top 6 in India. World Championships, we had 3 people in the top 6. Now, when we identified that event, people said, we are small in build. So if you look at Vetter, Neeraj is somewhere here to Vetter. And Vetter is that broad. So if Neeraj stands behind Vetter, you can't see Neeraj. He's that small. But then the coaches convinced us that it's speed, it's technique. And if you have the speed and the technique, it will help more than having strength. Strength can always be built. So we decided to do that event. Again, walk was one of the events. Today, our walkers are walking 119, 120. It's world class.
Yeah.
Today we have a walk, we have a foreign coach. Middle and long distance, we have Scott Simmons. And if Sable can beat some Kenyans running alone against them, that is progression. That is what we see as we have 3 people in long jump jumping over 820 meters. On any decent day, if they repeat that performance, they will get a medal in the Olympics or the World Championships. 3 people in top 6 javelin is just unbelievable. So I think people have not even understood the gravity and what it means. This performance, what it means. And therefore, I think it will still take time. But we are doing quietly what we are doing. There are a lot of planning that went into it, a lot of changes that we made, right from the calendar to the competitions, to foreign competitions, to bringing in foreign coaches. So it's been a great journey.
Yes. And of course, we have to also look ahead to the Paris Olympics. So, what are the specific preparations being put in place for the Indian athletes?
So we after the Asian Games, we've had a lot of meetings, 2-day, 3-day meetings. First one was to fix the calendar.
Hmm.
The most important things to fix the calendar so that you start training, preparation, pre-competition, right up to competition to peak at the right time. So all the competitions that we have put and the training camps are in line with that. So that your athlete, we don't want the athlete to peak early. Like we had some athletes peaking very early last season, and if that same performance was done at the World Championship, the athlete would have got a medal.
Yes.
We want to ensure that that doesn't happen. So we've been sitting with their personal coaches, with the chief coach, with the whole team, and it took us 2 to 3 days to actually create. That is the most important part, because that scientifically slices your training program. That was one of the things. The second big thing that we saw is early specialization and overtraining. And we found that not even 5% of the athletes who won the under 17 nationals actually won in the seniors. World Athletics stopped their under 18 World Championships because, as per their records, only 3% reached the elite level. So what was happening is that athletes were being overtrained by their coaches at a younger level. Also in India, at 18, you will get a job. At 18, once you get a job, there is pressure from the family to get their kids married, etc., etc. And then they say, "Abhi settle ho gaya. You please now get married and start a family." So we lose a lot of athletes like that, and that was one of the biggest. So now we have redefined our under 17, under 16 program. Even our NIT Jam, the National Inter-District, we don't do regular events. We do standing long jump.
Wow.
We do 3 steps jump for under 16, whereas 14 is only standing. The under 14 throw a plastic javelin. They don't throw a regular javelin. And the javelin is so created that if you throw it correctly, only then it will fly. It's a plastic javelin. So we've changed events. Even in under 18 now, nationals, we're not going over 1,000 meters. So they don't get overtrained. We're not doing regular events. We've taken away hammer throw, we've taken away pole vault, we've taken away triple jump. Again, we brought the events to fewer events. So there is a lot of scientific training. We've got not only our 7 foreign coaches, we've brought in experts from Germany, we've got experts from Switzerland to help us to create the new program.
And finally, Adil, what message do you have for aspiring young athletes in India?
The future is great. Go for it. And today the government is giving you everything. Every single thing the government is giving you. There is an opportunity. Grab that opportunity. The federation is here to do your planning and support you. The government is there to give you the money and the support. Go for it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Adil. That was a lovely conversation.
Pleasure.
To everyone watching, stay tuned to Revsportz.